Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, March 1st. There's a potential for a major East Coast storm around the middle part of next week in the Wednesday or Thursday time frame. We've been talking about the pattern that has evolved as we transition into the early part of March that is still quite favorable for some cold weather and stormy conditions in the central and eastern part of the country, namely a negative North Atlantic oscillation, which allows a blocking pattern to develop, which forces some cold air into the lower 48. Well, we'll follow a storm system that'll drop out of the Pacific Northwest region early next week, all the way down towards the southeastern part of the country, and then it should intensify as it approaches the mid-Atlantic coast. Obviously, there's several days to go, several questions to be answered, such as the rain-snow line, which will always be a factor this time of the year, and exactly where that storm track will end up setting up along the East Coast. Before we focus in on the midweek situation, just want to point out something we talked about yesterday. One of the computer forecast models, the NAM, North American Mesoscale, just predicted an incredible high-pressure reading for the latter part of the weekend over Greenland, something I had never seen before. Yesterday, it was predicting a 1092 millibar high over Greenland. Well, the overnight run, the 0Z NAM run, topped that. Here we are over Greenland. This is late Sunday night, early Monday. The NAM model is predicting a 1100 millibar high pressure sitting over Greenland. That translates to 32.48 inches, something I've never seen before. It's indicative of some very dense, very cold air that certainly remains in the northern hemisphere as we roll into the month of March here. In fact, there's just a tremendous cold air mass associated with this strong high pressure system here forecasted by the NAM model run. So just something you hardly ever see. I don't think I've ever seen a high pressure that strong. Again, 32.48 inches. If you have a barometer at home, take a look. You may not even have 32 inches available to see on your barometer at home. Now, what kind of effect will this have on some cold air masses? Well, let's take a look here. These next two charts are from the Raleigh Weather website, and they show a color scheme associated with 850 millibar temperature anomalies in the very low part of the atmosphere. It gives you some idea of surface temperatures here. This is for Sunday evening, about the time of that incredible high pressure sitting over Greenland. Here is the outline of Greenland right up here. The lower 48, this is Pennsylvania way down in here. This kind of a color scheme right here from this particular website, RaleighWeather.com, is just brutally cold air here. This whole air mass associated with that tremendous high pressure system over Greenland, the latter part of the weekend, early part of next week. Let's now jump ahead to the middle part of next week, and this is for Wednesday night, and a piece of that brutally cold air does drop south. There's still a lot of brutal cold air sitting over Greenland as high pressure remains, but a piece of that kind of broke off and is moving all the way down into central Canada, and we'll kind of follow that over the next several days. But certainly that kind of a strong high pressure system tells us that there's still some brutal cold air that will be situated up to our north as we roll into the early and middle part of March. Now let's focus in on the potential major East Coast threat for the middle of next week. Well, let's start off by looking at the latest 06Z GFS model run. This is for Wednesday morning of next week, and by this time, storm system drops all the way from Montana, goes straight southeast, moves off the mid-Atlantic coast, and this is the GFS forecast map for Wednesday morning. Still nothing going on here in the mid-Atlantic region, but quite a difference in the very latest GFS model run from the run early yesterday morning. We'll take a look at that over the next minute or two. Again, this is the latest GFS model run for Wednesday morning. Let's now jump ahead to Thursday morning. And here's the forecast map from the 06Z GFS model run for Thursday morning. The storm slows down, intensifies rapidly, and throws a lot of moisture back into the mid-Atlantic region. Rain-snow line right along the coast here. Can you get a significant snowstorm in the early part of March? This would be about the March 6th, March 7th time frame, Wednesday, Thursday. Absolutely. We have historically had March snowstorms well into the month of March, even some significant snow here in the Mid-Atlantic region into the early part of April. It certainly can happen, and there is a threat for that this time around, the middle part of next week. This is a major change in the GFS model run, not surprisingly, in the overnight hours. This is, again, the very latest GFS model run for Thursday morning. Yesterday morning's model run looked like this. What is a difference here? Way off the coast. It's now the same time frame for Thursday morning looking like this. And again, in this particular situation, the GFS changed significantly overnight. Not too surprisingly, the European model has kind of led the way once again with at least the alert of a potential East Coast storm the middle part of next week. Let's now take a look at the European model. Here's the European model forecast maps for Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night of next week from the Raleigh Weather website. By Tuesday evening, we have low pressure that dropped again all the way from Montana to the Tennessee Valley here, and it's situated right here. Quite a bit of cold air here in the northeastern part of the country. Pretty much anything blue is at or below freezing. It looks like pretty much all of the northeastern part of the country at this point below freezing. Let's now jump ahead 24 hours. And the European model has quite a significant amplification of that storm here right over the Chesapeake Bay region here. Now, this particular situation will certainly have some rain along the coast, as it has some quite a bit of easterly fetch of air here, and we'll of course monitor that. The rain-snow line will certainly be an issue, perhaps setting up right around I-95 if all of this actually comes to fruition. Perhaps I-95 points south and east favor rain, points north and west favor snow. That's several days away, and we'll focus in on that as the event closes in. Lots of cold air coming in behind it. Let's now jump ahead 24 hours. By Thursday night, the European model does not move that storm all that far, and this makes sense because of the blocking pattern. We talked about this negative NAO. One of the things it tends to do is slow storm systems down off the East Coast, and it certainly can cause a block in the atmosphere that prevents the storm from moving away. So this is certainly on the table as a possible scenario, the fact that the storm could move towards the East Coast and then tend to slow down after it reaches the East Coast. So there's certainly a lot of potential here for the middle part of next week, and we'll of course focus in on that over the next several days. The main upper level wave that will set off the storm, the seeds for this storm, is still way out over the Pacific, comes ashore later this weekend. So all the computer forecast models should have a much better handle on things during the latter part of the weekend, and we'll of course monitor that all weekend long and the early part of next week here at the SIweather.com. That's it for now. I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.